Hello friends, welcome back. If you want to know who is a Scrum product owner and what are his roles and responsibilities, then you are watching the right video. Let's get started. A Scrum product owner is member of a Scrum team. According to Scrum Guide, a Scrum product owner is a person who is accountable for maximizing the value of the product resulting from the work of the Scrum team. He acts as a communication bridge between the requirement sources and the development team. The requirement sources may be business owners or end users or market research. The roles and responsibilities of a product owner can be divided into three sections. Let us go through each section and understand in detail. The first section is to create product vision, strategy, and roadmap. As you can see, the product owner may get the requirement either from a business owner or from an end user or through the market research. Based on the requirement, the product owner will create a product vision. Product vision describes the future state that would be achieved by developing and deploying the product. Then he creates a product strategy. Product strategy is a plan on how to achieve the product vision. Then he creates a product roadmap. Product roadmap is a high-level visual timeline of the product development. It shows how a product or solution will develop over time. Product roadmaps are useful for planning, prioritizing, and measuring the progress of the product development. The next section is managing the product backlog. Here, the product owner will break down the high-level requirements into epics and further down to user stories, and then adds it to product backlog. Product backlog is a list of work for the development team that is derived from the roadmap and its requirement. Then he will prioritize the backlog. That is, he will reorder the user stories based on the requirement. Then he will make sure that each user story is having all the required information like scope, acceptance criteria, precondition, UX or UI link, supporting images, and supporting documents if any. Friends, to understand how to break down high-level requirements into epics and user stories and how to write epics and user stories in the best format, please watch the related videos in my channel. I will also post the link in the description. The next section is overseeing development stages. Once the product backlog with a list of user stories is ready, the next responsibility of a product owner is to get these user stories developed by the development team. Let us see how he does this under this Scrum framework. Release planning. Here, based on the velocity of the team, the product owner will decide which feature can be released. The epics which are part of this feature will be decided. How many sprints is required to release this feature will be decided. Duration of each sprint will be decided. In our example, release 1 takes 3 months and epic 1, 2 and 3 are part of this release. That is, all the user stories which comes under this epic 1, 2 and 3 should be developed and released. To do this, it takes 3 sprints and the duration of each sprint will be 1 month. Other members like Scrum Master, the project manager, the lead developer, lead QA will be part of this release planning to assist the product owner. Once the release planning is done, the product owner will communicate the requirement to the development team through a Scrum ceremony called refinement. Here, the product owner picks up each user story from the backlog and explains it to the development team. He will split any user story if required or if requested by the development team. He removes user stories that are not required. Estimates user stories, that is, adding story points to each user story by the help of the development team. Once the refinement is done, the next responsibility of the product owner is to help the development team to start the work through the sprint planning ceremony. Here, the product owner describes the objective or goal of the sprint. He will decide on the user stories which is required to be taken into the sprint to achieve the sprint goal. He will answer any clarification raised by the development team regarding the user stories taken into the sprint. As you can see, 5 user stories have been taken into sprint backlog from the product backlog. Now the sprint will start and the development team will start working on the 5 user stories. Once the sprint is started, every day there will be a Scrum ceremony called daily stand-up, where the development team meet and discuss about the progress of user stories in the sprint. Though it is not mandatory for the product owner to attend daily stand-up meeting, it is an advantage if he is available in the meeting because he can clarify if any questions arises from the team regarding the user stories in the sprint. He can understand the progress being made on the user stories in the sprint. He can also help the team if any blockers or impediments arises. Once the story in the sprint is developed by developer and tested by QA, the product owner verifies the story. If the story is met the scope and the acceptance criteria, he will sign off the story and the story is considered as done. If not, he will assign back to the developer. The sprint is completed successfully only if all the stories in the sprint is in done status. Friends, to understand the entire life cycle of the user story, please watch the related video in my channel. I will also post the link in the description. At the end of each sprint, the product owner gets involved in 2 Scrum ceremonies, that is sprint review and sprint retrospective. Sprint review is a meeting held at the end of each sprint, during which the team shows what was done in the sprint to the stakeholders. The product owner invites the required stakeholders to showcase them the features developed in the sprint to get the feedback. He will use this feedback in the upcoming sprints. Sprint retrospective is a meeting held at the end of each sprint to discuss what went well during the previous sprint and what can be improved for the next sprint. The product owner will understand what went well and what didn't go well in the previous sprint, and he will accordingly help the team to set up the action plan for the next sprint. Thank you, friends. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel.